Our pace of living leaves us little time for leisure. Our program will give you a chance to experience the fascinating world of traveling, extreme adventures, hunting and fishing. Each week we will take you to the most beautiful places of Kazakhstan. The hunting and fishing seasons are over. In search of new adventures, avid travelers have no choice but to go and look for mushrooms. Luckily, there are plenty of places like that in the Almaty region in spring. The main thing is to know mushroom places. First, as usual, there is a Cryptocybe or king oyster mushroom. This fungus is known to almost everyone living in Almaty, and the road to mushroom places is marked even on the navigator. It is our way to the ridge of Malaysary. The way from Almaty takes just over 2 hours. During this time, we have to overcome 140 kilometers. For experienced travelers, such a distance is just a pleasant stroll. When we turned from the highway connecting Almaty and Kapchagay, we headed towards the village of Bakanas. Outside the window of the car, the steppe pictures are flashing. The vegetation is filled with colors. It paints the steppe, reviving it after a long winter. The color combination is amazing. After the 121 km to the left, well-rolled ground road starts. It takes you to the Ili river banks. This place on the bank is the most famous one. Here, at 120 km away from Almaty, an open-air temple is located on the cliffs. Numerous petroglyphs, images of deities and late Buddhist inscriptions, archaeologists have found about thousands of rock drawings, but the most striking is the image of Shakyamuni Buddha. Apart from Buddhist figures and inscriptions, there is a stone with runic writings, ancient Turkish, that date back in the 8th to the 9th centuries. Scientists believe that in the 10th century, one of the Buddhist missions took place here during a hike in Jetisu. Legends tell there was an earthquake and a large stone broke off from a rock, and just the smooth piece of rock, a breakaway from the array during the earthquake, carved Buddha images. Tamgali Tas is a cultural monument and is protected by the government of Kazakhstan. We are moving to Malaysary. It is the northernmost extremity of the Jungar Alatau. Alatau is translated from Kazakh as the variegated mountain. It is the name of many mountain ranges in Kazakhstan and Central Asia with variegated terrain, or the alternation of grassy and forest vegetation, snow and piled multicolored cliffs and talus. Jungar Alatau is situated in the eastern part of Kazakhstan, stretches from the west to the southeast and northeast along the border of Kazakhstan and China, between the river Ili and Lake Kalakol. The main range of Jungar Alatau is divided by longitudinal valleys of the Koksu River to the west and Borotala to the east. An array consists of 2 parallel ridges to the north and south. Jungar Alatau is a popular tourist attraction. Mountain peaks, waterfalls, hot springs, lakes and mountain streams attract with their beauty and opportunity to be explored. The range Malaysary is small, approximately 80 km in length. Absolute altitude reaches around 1,200 meters above sea level, and the relative is even less than that, up to 400 meters. On the border of Balkhash area, we go into the foothills. Turning off the track, we need to pass at least 20 kilometers and only then to start the research. Natural area of the ridge is mainly semi-arid. It is hilly, but northern rock has got deep gorges. Vegetation is poor, mostly it's grey sagebrush. Only in the gorges, where small streams run in spring, shrubs grow. While riding, you can enjoy the beauty of flowers. On the northern slopes, snowdrops are still growing. Irises and tulips are blooming on the sunlit southern slopes. Typical floral form of Malaysari is a ferulgunga, is a medicinal plant, better known here as a carrot plant. Ferula is interesting in that it forms a fungus root with steppe mushroom. With the help of ferula, it is easy to determine the time when to go picking mushrooms.
О, у нас сегодня довольно удачный день.
It's a pretty good day after the long wanderings and selection of the place to look for mushrooms. We finally found this field where we can find white steppe royal oyster mushrooms. Here's another one. Cut it away gently. Fresh mushrooms. Not so long ago, in these places it was raining. Now it is warm enough and the mushrooms started to appear. It's quite fun. When mushrooms are there, there is an excitement then. But what else to do when hunting and fishing are not allowed? We decided to go picking mushrooms. Oyster mushroom, or trumpet royal, the most delicious mushroom of oysters, as its name suggests. This is a meaty mushroom. Thick legs length reaches 7 centimeters. But the cap of a mushroom grows to 20 centimeters in diameter. The young mushrooms it is convex, but with age it becomes funnel-shaped. The mushroom is edible in any form. The most suitable time for mushroom picking is the end of April and the first half of May. It is desirable to have rainy weather 1 or 2 days before your trip. In hot, dry weather, mushrooms grow very slowly.
Вот лично мне очень часто доводилось собирать грибы в горах, в лесу, ну, степными.
Personally, I very often have to pick mushrooms in the mountains, in a forest, but I was not fond of steppe mushrooms for some reason. I didn't often visit these places. But it is an interesting open area where all mushrooms can be easily seen. Just find such a low-lying field, where the wind is not blowing and the mushrooms are there. There has been quite a long distance, but we already have a result. The main competitors to pick mushrooms here in Central Asian steppe are turtles. There are plenty of them in the spring here. Steppe tortoises have woken up after the long winter. They are now out of their burrows and roamed through the steppe, having fun and getting to our eyes every now and then. And be careful not to step on any of them. In nature, the turtles have 2 periods of hibernation, during the heat of summer and in winter, with summer hibernation going into the winter and autumn activity lasting only for 10 to 12 days. Summer hibernation is mainly caused by a lack of food, as the heat burns the vegetation in the desert. After long wandering in the desert, we finally found the mushroom place, but we had very little time to collect them. We were only a couple of hours before the sunset, but this time we managed to pick 10 kilograms of mushrooms. On the way back, our good friend called us and told that now they are picking mushrooms on the slopes of the Transili Alatau. Morel mushrooms start to grow massively in the mountains. We have decided to continue collecting mushrooms and traveling on slopes of mountains in Almaty. We have long known the mushroom places, so that was our privilege. After rising to the top of the mount on our small UAZ car, we started to look for the mushrooms.
Вот пока в степях растут белые грибы, и собирали мы не так давно белые грибы, а в горах
White mushrooms grow in the steppe, and not long ago we were picking them, and morels grow in the mountains near Almaty. This is probably the first mushrooms that grow in the mountains. Here is a simple form they have. Many people are scared and distracted by this form, but in fact the taste of these mushrooms is very good. In this difficult matter, the young mushroom hunters volunteered to help. 5-year-old Angelina and 8-year-old Catherine already know what mushrooms you can collect and how to look for them. Making our way through a grove of hawthorn, we find mushrooms here and there.
Вот нам удалось нарваться на поляну с грибами.
Here we have come to a glade with mushrooms. Here are these mushrooms with a very large cap. There are plenty of them in one place, so we managed to pick them much faster. Among the numerous morels, we find Russula and Lepista personata. We spread out along the mountain slope, and with passion, one after the other, mushrooms were in our packets. Many collect mushrooms using baskets and buckets, but to be honest, the packets are much more convenient to use while being on the slope. Morels grow in spring in woods, parks and gardens.
стоит нагнуться в кустике, и в кустиках крапивы можно найти грибы.
That's worth a bend in the bushels, and the nettle mushrooms can be found. This one here, but that's not a really big mushroom, of course, but it's average. Within only 1 hour of time, we have already collected about 5 kilos. It is considered, although it is not proven, that morels can form mycorrhiza with certain types of trees, especially with ash. Morels are saprophiles, so there is a theoretical possibility for people to cultivate them. They are considered edible mushrooms. All species of the fungus are edible, but before using them for food, prolonged thermal treatment is required.
Вот спускаясь ниже,
As we are going down the slope, bigger mushrooms can already be observed. Apparently it's a little warmer here, less rain, so more mushrooms. That's such an instance we already found. You need to know which mushrooms can be collected. Some of them are similar to the poisonous, some are edible under certain conditions. But there are mushrooms which are loved by many people for its ease of preparation and taste. One of them is Lepista nuda. This mushroom is called differently blue root and the scientific name Trichiloma nudum. Some people are afraid to pick these mushrooms, but these people are not right. They are edible and very tasty.
Уже начинают появляться подбоярышники, как эти грибы.
Hawthorn mushrooms, as these mushrooms are known locally, are on our way. Here's a white hat with a very dense white steppe-like fungus, but it is the hawthorn mushroom. For several hours we managed to collect a decent number of mushrooms. At the end of the summer we once again will go to the mushroom search, except that the object will be milk mushrooms. But we will talk about it on another edition of the program.